Good morning.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You took too long.
Good morning.
I had to say good morning first because you took too long to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That iPad's making your face glow. Watch, turn it off. Watch, look. Dang! No, when it goes white. Watch, open it up. To the... Yeah, look at that.
That is glowy.
Put it on my
look
face.
at that.
Whoa.
Ooh.
So, Sunday night for us.
Yep.
Monday night for you.
Yep.
Today we announced on Sunday service that we're going to have service with guidelines. We talked about those guidelines.
Yeah.
We will be talking deeper about those guidelines all week long. So the church doors will be open. Not sure what that's going to look like yet. We still got to talk to a lot of people, a lot of families, a lot of individuals.
Yeah.
Because we're not sure what that's going to look like, because we're eliminating rows. We're eliminating
a lot of seating.
Not sure if that's going to go into multiple service, or if some people are not going to be comfortable coming anyways. So maybe it's going to be fine. I don't know. But I'm not going to be honest with you. It's something that's going to be on my mind all week long, you know?
Amen. And something that we're going to have to be preparing all this week, because we have a really, really heavy week. We have some things going on.
Yeah, as you guys know, we've been doing weekly, what do you call it? Things we've been fixing at the church.
Weekly
renovations,
projects. Yeah.
We've been doing those. And
now it seems like it just got really expedited.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of like, because we're doing these things as, you know, as finances come in, as time permits, as all of that. And all of a sudden, it all happens so quickly. So we're just kind of like expediting it now. We're trying to go faster.
So not only is it the projects that we have, which they're going to get done because we're already at the tail end of it.
Yeah.
But on top of that, protocol, guidelines, what do we want to do? Because ultimately, the most important thing is not what the state says. The most important thing is keeping you safe.
Yeah, the safety of our families.
That's the priority here. You know, everything else is secondary. What the governor says, what the president says, whatever. I just care about you. And I just want you to be in an environment that's the safest possible that we can do.
Amen.
You know, so, you know, with that and the projects that we're finishing up and whatnot, it's going to be a lot on our mind, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not even sure. Tuesday is going to be a huge day for a lot of reasons. There might not be a video Wednesday morning. I don't know. I'm just giving you forewarning. Tuesday is going to be from beginning to end.
I really don't think there's gonna be, guys. As I shared with you guys, I'm going in to have another procedure done. So I know that I'm not gonna be feeling so great that Tuesday. And, you know, after David picks me up from, you know, the location, I'm gonna need some rest. So, and I know that he's going to be really busy throughout that day, because you can't even go in with me to any hospital facilities. He can't be in there with me. They won't allow him in. So he has to just drop me off, and I'm going to be there for several hours, and he can only pick me up. So. And
I'm going to be with Tomas. He's going to be at the church from morning, literally 8 a.m. All we have is Tuesday, because that's his day he can help us, and Thursday. Amen. And that's it. The church has to be ready for Sunday service. Yeah. So you might not have a video Wednesday morning. We're apologizing now for it, but you guys know we love you guys. Amen. We care about you guys. You know, and really so many times we push through to make a video happen, even when it's been hard. But this might be one. I don't know. But either way, we're here. We're here now. I got a burgundy shirt. You know what I mean? So. Today was what am I talking about?
What? Today was Sunday, babe.
Yeah, I know, but I was like, I kind of wanted to lay out the weekend with your family because I know that was a really nice time for you. For all of us.
Yeah, it really was. My son came with his fiance, my daughter and her hubby, and my grandbaby. And you guys, I didn't have to cook anything this whole weekend. They literally came with an ice chest filled with different kinds of meats. My son did an Armenian feast. My oldest son's half Armenian, so he put together this big old feast for us. It was so much food, and it was so delicious, you guys. Everything was just delicious. And then I want to thank one of the sisters from the church, Sister Lisa, who actually made some very good, what was it, Arabic rice that he said it was? I believe it was. Know. Yeah, I believe something
I just
like
eat
that.
It. I don't ask questions.
But it was so delicious. My kids loved it. By the way, it all got eaten up because I know you're watching this. I want to thank you for making that for me. But, I'm going to be so completely honest with you guys, and I'm sure this will maybe open up a topic in regards to family or in regards to situation, because I know that there's many out there that have possibly gone through this or are going through it or, will go through it. And, my kids grew up in the church. When I was 17 years old, 17 and a half, I came to know the Lord. And, I brought my kids along with me in every decision that I made when it came to ministry and to the Lord. My kids were always beside me. I was that mom where I always had them. They weren't at grandma's. They weren't anywhere else. They were with me. My children were with me all the time. And a lot of the times my family didn't understand, like, why are you always in church? That's all you do, church, 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 church. And yesterday when my kids were here and my sister ended up showing up as well, surprising us for the whole day, I talked to her and I told her, that was my place of refuge to be. That was a place where I can breathe. And a lot of people, because of the life that I had growing up, I went through a lot of things in life. And so when I came to know the Lord, I found refuge. I found that it was a place that I felt safe and I can breathe. And that was what ministry and church was for me. But it did become overwhelming to the point where it began to affect my children. I got so involved in ministry to the point where I would never say no. And I dragged my kids with me. And I remember that there would be times where my daughter would be like, "Really, Mom? Seriously? All your time, all we do is just go to church. Can we do something else, please?" And as my kids grew up, my kids started to feel the neglect, a little bit neglected, because I no longer knew how to say no to people. And because I didn't know how to say no, what would happen is that instead of saying no, I would start to slowly back away from the things of God. And it wasn't just that I was backing away from ministry, see, because the thing is that I thought that ministry and church was God, because I felt like that's what I felt at that time, because that's all I knew.
Yeah.
So, my kids started to feel that resentment. And as my kids became adults and everything, I think what it did to my children, my older ones, it kind of pulled them away. And they kind of felt like ministry and church took their mom away. And I hurt my kids. I know that I did. Because I feel that even though they didn't realize the reasons or they didn't know why it was that I was trying to find that refuge or that safety net or any of that, and where I felt alive and that I can breathe, but yet then I was drowning my children and I was hurting them. And I'll tell you that today it felt so good. I mean, even yesterday we had dinner and we just talked and we laughed and everything, and I had such an amazing time. And And I just really wanted them just to come to church. And at first they were just kind of standoffish. But I'm so glad that the Lord allowed my sister, my baby sister, to be here, because they love her. They love her so much, and because she's a little bit younger and stuff, they really can communicate a lot with her. She's like, guys, we're going to church tomorrow. We're going to do this all together as a family. And they were like, okay, so, but the fact that they all showed up at 10 o'clock exactly today. And as I was singing one of those songs about moving the mountain today, and yet he'll do it again, all that I can think of in my mind, David, honestly, was like, God did it once for me with my children, and I know that he'll never go back on his promise, and that he's going to do it again. And for the first time in a long, long time, you guys, I seen my children respond in a way where I knew that they were listening attentively. They thought that they were walking into something like the past, and they realized that they weren't. They realized they were in a whole different environment. They realized, like, whoa, this is different. And here's the most beautiful thing, is that they actually received it. And they said, I was able to understand everything you were saying, David, because you made it so relatable, and I was able to take that in and understand it, and it meant something. We felt something. And I was happy, so happy and overjoyed to have that. I'm just grateful.
All these years since I met you, and then I met your kids, especially the older ones, the adult ones. I always knew that when Sharon said, well, I'm moving up north, I'm going to marry David, he's a pastor of a church, and I married David, and he's a pastor of a church. I knew the whole time that they already had a picture of what that was like because of the church environment they grew up in. And they rejected it. So the few times they would come, they come on a Friday, come on a Saturday, and then you'd be like, well, before you go back, come to church. And like, no. And I always knew why. I just stayed quiet, but I knew that they were picturing that which they knew, and they were putting that on me. And I was so grateful when I saw them show up, because for the first time, they will base House of Rest, or what we do or what I do, on the merits of what they would hear, not on what they thought.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. Because, see, so many times people are like, I don't know what it is. But when we go to House of Rest, or when we listen to your devotionals, or we listen, like, something stirs, something's different. And I can only credit the Lord, honestly, because I said something today that I wasn't on my notes. It wasn't even on my mind. It wasn't in anything until it came out. And basically what I said was, the messenger is the one that bottlenecks the message. In other words, there's a flow of word from God, and there's a hunger of the word from the people, right? So there's a huge demand, and God is fulfilling that demand. But the bottleneck, the commute, the gridlock happens at the person delivering that message.
Yeah.
So it's not that God doesn't want to do amazing things in this world. And it's not that the people are not wanting something amazing from God. It's who is going to stand up and not be a bottleneck and open this thing wide open to allow the word and the glory and the power and everything God has for us to completely unleash it and not make a ministry become a dam for it. You know what I mean by that? Is when you go to a dam, there's a huge amount of water that wants to flow and a little trickle comes out the other end.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, ministries and churches can become a dam. And I'm like, let's break that thing wide open and allow the word of God to flow and let it go where it's going to go.
Amen.
And I believe that today's word was timely. I believe that, well, I know because of the things they said after, they're just like, that was crazy. You know, and I pray that everyone that did, you know, attend with us online, you were able to receive something from that. Mm-hmm. You know, and, you know, God is just good. You know, God is good. And it was beautiful. I told them individually when you weren't around, I said, you have no idea what this meant to your mom. I said, and also to me, I said, I appreciate it. You know, I said, I just thank you, you know, because now I think that broke down some barriers, you know, of the next time. There's going to be another Friday and a Saturday and a Sunday morning. They're getting ready to go home. It's like, hey, come to service.
Yeah.
And walls got broken today, you know, and that's a beautiful thing, you know, because that's what we're about, is breaking walls. Not only for family or our children, but for those of you that are watching.
Amen.
You know, I have a feeling that through this pandemic, many of you would have never stepped foot in a church, but you're probably considering it now.
Yeah.
Walls were broken.
Amen.
You know, and that's what this whole thing's about, guys, is that, and I told your son, I said, I have a feeling you don't have a problem with God. He goes, I don't.
Yeah.
I said, I think your problem was the people that were speaking it. And he goes, you know what, I never thought of it, but you're probably right.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't have a problem with God. See, that I can work with. See, when somebody is an atheist and they hate God or they don't believe in God, that is a little harder. But when somebody says, man, I don't have a beef with God, I believe in him, but man, I've been through some bad churches. See, that right there, it can be trying, it can be a struggle, but there's actually hope in that.
Yeah.
You know, so if you come across somebody, sometimes they seem like they don't want nothing to do with God. If you really dig into the root of it, it's not even God they have a problem with. It's maybe the church they went to, or the ministry, or the leader that did this or did that, or hurt them or betrayed them, or maybe delivered or taught a wrong basis. Because you guys know, I say this over and over and over and over. If you don't lay a strong foundation of the gospel, everything on top of it is like a house of cards that any little wind comes and blows it away. Mm-hmm. So we're all about, let's forget all this high-rise stuff. Let's get the foundation solid and strong, because then anything you put on that thing will not shake.
You know, and I think they were able to finally truly see the difference and the change.
Yeah.
Even in me, you know, as I got to sit here and talk to my little sister, and for her to share all the things that she shared with us, saying, you know, you really changed. And she's all, and I finally realize, you know, there's sometimes when you talk to family, when there's communication, it takes that sometimes for people to finally open up their eyes and see what something was all about, why decisions were made. Because a lot of the times, I think that's one thing that a lot of us do, is we jump to assumptions. And when we begin to assume, you know, the first thing that happens is that we've already painted this picture in our mind and everything. And when we've done that, we're already criticizing and judging this person for something that really truly isn't even fact. And, like she said yesterday, I understand why you did what you did. I understand why you served in a ministry for so long and stayed there and did everything. Now I get it. She goes, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
But, God is so good. And I just enjoyed my time with my children. I miss them already. I do. It brought me back memories, because my home was always the home where everybody would gather and everybody would hang out. So I'm going to miss it, for the moments. But I praise God that I just had those moments with him.
Amen.
Let me grab something to drink.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to talk about is a little bit about what we started with. And what?
There's nothing anywhere.
Oh.
Go ahead.
So, is the fact that when the president announced for the churches to be open immediately, it sent a rush of different thoughts into my mind. I don't have any water. What are you looking for?
I was looking to see if you had water.
No, I don't.
Sorry, guys. My throat got itchy.
And it sent a rush of thoughts, and stuff. And then it made me like a little upset at something. Because I started to see some backlash on social media. The churches shouldn't be open and this and that, whatever. And guys, you guys know I have not been pushing the church to be open. I have not put pressure. I haven't been like, this is against the amendments. This is against the Constitution. I haven't, nothing. I'm just going with the flow. So
we're making that decision. We're not paying attention to what everybody else is saying, but we're really following how the Lord is leading us, I believe, because I really truly believe that we've been seeking and we've been asking him, okay, Lord, when you give us that peace for us to start to reopen and all of that. Yeah. I know a lot of people were supposed to open on the 31st, but the fact is that I really truly believe that we're just really truly following the peace that we have in our heart about it and and how to go about it.
I had a frame of thought though that I don't want to forget. And I was thinking I'm forgetting. My point was, I got a little bit upset, and I'll tell you why. Because I suddenly realized that the backlash of, these churches are going to open and this COVID is going to spread and this and that. And I said, wait a second. In my mind, this is what I thought. I'm just gonna vent with you guys. Is I said, I have gone into little stores. And apparently the government trusts 7-Eleven more than they do churches, because the 7-Eleven is open. Because they trust that 7-Eleven is going to have sanitizer. They're going to ask to put a mask on. They have the plexiglass hanging everywhere. All of these precautions. They're not letting you get coffee, because then you would be grabbing the pot that everybody grabs. There's certain things in 7-Eleven that are no longer available. Because of that, like usually, remember they had the coffee station where you can put, all that's gone. So apparently the government trusted 7-Eleven. I'm not just picking 7-Eleven, just any store, to do the right thing. But then this is what bothered me when I saw the backlash of a few people get angry. The fact that the president said that churches should be open. And I have been real kickback. You've been real kickback about it. I'm like, wait a second. You can't trust, if you trust the local liquor store at the corner that is selling you poison, you can't trust the church that we're going to do the right thing. And it's like, I almost feel like people thought like the church is open, like everything is just back to normal. Nobody ever said that. No pastor I know No pastor I know is saying, we're just going to open the church and everybody's going to be sitting together and we're just going to be hugging and fellowshipping. And, nobody ever said that. So then that's where I got a little bothered, because I'm like, wait a second. If you trust these stores that don't love you, then how can you not trust the pastors and the leaders that do love you? And, that was my frame of thought. I didn't want to forget, but it's like, then it bothered me, because I'm like, wait a second. You're going to trust, the local store, but you're not going to trust us to do the right thing? You think we want people to get sick? Of course not. You think we want that on our conscience? You think we want anyone in the congregation to get sick? Of course not.
If we were careless in that way, then we would just have everybody and anybody just showing up at any given time to help us complete or do what needs to be done. But you know what? We make that sacrifice. We make that sacrifice because we know that we can't have that. We know that we're going to have to put in the extra work. We're going to have to put in the extra time. We're going to have to put in the extra effort, everything that we want to do, because we want to be sure that when you guys come home, that you're coming home to the home that you left, in order. And we just want to give you guys a beautiful place to just come and worship and just be there.
Yeah.
And I just think that I'm just grateful that God has sustained us. I'm saying us as in personally, us, the leadership, that he has given us strength, like, to continue to be able to do what we're doing, because it's not easy.
Yeah.
But you know what? It is a sacrifice, and you know what? And we're gonna make that sacrifice. Yeah. Why? Because we do love you, and because we want to see you guys, and we want to provide a safe environment for everybody. And it's even going to be even harder to not see some people that we know shouldn't be there, and we're gonna miss them. But that's the whole point, is that if we feel that somebody is not safe somewhere, then we're going to tell them it's best for you. And that's why we're going to continue going the extra effort to continue putting everything online, to continue our devotionals, to continue giving the best that we can, to give everything in excellence that we can.
Yeah.
Why? Because it is important to us, because you are family and we love you.
Yeah. And as a pastor, I'm not asking for any special privileges above your bank, your little market, your Dollar Tree, your Costco, your Walmart, your Chevron that you can walk into. It's like, we're not asking to be not held to the same accountability. We're not asking for special privileges because we're a church. We're just saying, actually, give us the same respect. Give us the same respect and responsibility.
And respect one another.
That we can be responsible in the way we're going to have service from now on. Because ultimately, like I said in the beginning, it's not about what the governor says. It's not about what the president says. It's about you and your health and your safety.
Amen. And I'm glad that you brought that, because I do see that there is a lot of people that they're beginning to lose respect for one another. Yeah. Because of their decisions.
Yeah.
And we need to learn to respect the decision. If we know personally someone should not be going and they make that decision to not go, we're not going to go and tell them, really? Now that we're opening up, finally, after all this time, we're going to open up and you're not even going to go? Or...
We're not going to do that.
We're not going to do that. And or the fact that, somebody can come so easily and be like, well, you have no faith. Like, come on, who's your healer? Who's this? That the thing is that we know that we know. But the thing is that he tells us, use wisdom. Be cautious, use wisdom in the things that you do. And that's what we got to do.
Yeah, I was talking to a brother, one of the leaders that came to the church. We had a couple leaders there at the church today, even though it wasn't officially open. And we had a little conversation after. And he goes, man, I really like that sermon. I really like what you said, And we started talking about this reopening because he goes, what do you think about it? And we just conversated. But anyways, I want to pinpoint this one thing that was said. He goes, man, people have really said that if the church doesn't open or if you don't go on the first day, then they don't have faith. They're not real Christians. I said, yeah, I mean, maybe not in those words, but pretty much. And he goes, what do you think about that? I said, I think it's silly. I always take a thought and you follow it through to see if it goes down a slippery slope. I said, for instance, and I said like this. I said, if somebody would say, oh, if you don't come to church, you must not have faith. And I would say, okay, I want you to ride down that freeway, put a blindfold on and go 80 miles an hour if you have faith. You don't got faith? You don't got faith that God's going to take care of you if you go barreling down the freeway 80 miles an hour with the head? So you must not have faith then. I mean, it's like, where does it end? That's what I mean. Yeah. You follow an idea through.
It's contradicting.
Yeah, you follow an idea through. And then I'm like, so you must not lock your doors at night because you have faith that nobody's going to break in. Right? Mm-hmm. Why don't you give your PIN number to everyone?
Or let your toddler walk to the market.
Yeah, because you have faith. See what I mean? It's a slippery slope. So, but like I said, guys, I'm venting, but it's a real vent, honestly, because these are things that need to be talked about. These are things that need to be thought of and thought out sometimes before opening our mouths. Yeah. And it's like, what's that saying? To be fast to listen, slow to speak, or something like that.
Quick to listen, slow to speak.
Yeah, But, we just wanted to talk to you guys about our weekend. We wanted to share with you about the church opening up. We are excited about it, don't get me wrong, but we want to do it right.
Yeah.
We want to do it right, because ultimately...
we're held accountable.
Yeah, to truly love you is to truly love you.
Yeah.
Honestly, Yeah. And like I said in the morning in the service, I said, if you choose not to come right now, well, praise God. We're going to have stream. Mm-hmm. We're still going to stream. Yeah. We streamed years before the pandemic, and we're going to continue to stream years after. Amen. Because of the reason I think a lot of churches that didn't stream, I've noticed that they've had to say, churches are opening and we're still going to stream, guys, and because maybe they weren't used to it. But you guys know, House of Rest, yep. We're streamers.
Things don't change, guys. You'll still see our 5, 4, 3, 2, 1s every day, and you'll still see the silliness, and you'll still see the sermons, the Bible studies. We're still going to give you guys updates. We're still going to do our identity on Zoom. If anything, I think that it just enhanced. The Lord allowed an enhancement to take place because it opened up the doors to so many new things. It even opened up the doors to this text thing where people were able to text in. And you know what that did? That opened up a communication line for us with people individually to now where we're getting to know you personally. We're getting to talk to you. We're getting to just share with you. And that's something that wasn't there before. Yeah. So if I love the things that have come out of this, and I dislike many of the things that have come out of this because I've seen people hurt. I've seen people sick. I've seen people die. We have family, people that are close to us that have been affected through this because of losing a loved one to COVID. But in the light of it all, we also see that God has used it as a moment to be able to enhance so many lives in so many ways, enhance our families, our marriages, our relationships with our children, and just do the things that we've never really done before. Yeah. So I'm excited at the same time because it just opened up many doors. Amen. And we're just going to continue going through them, and we're going to be like, okay, Lord, here we are. We walked in the door. We're ready to do what it is that you've called us to do. What's next? Yeah. What's next? What's next? And you know what? We're just going to be ready in and out of season, and let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah. So those of you that are connected with us through the 209-400-9725, and you text the word HORC to that number, you're going to receive an email with those guidelines by the time, or if not before you see this, in a few hours that you see this. We're going to post it on the front page of our website also. You're going to be able to click on it, and it's going to open up also for those of you that are physical members of House of Rest. So you can kind of see the protocol. It might change a bit in the next couple of days, and we will keep it updated. But as of now, what we got from Grace International, I feel very safe with that. You know,
go to www.houseofrestchurch.com.
Yeah, houseofrestchurch.com. So we just want to make sure everyone knows the protocol. Everyone knows what's expected. Everyone knows, so nobody is surprised when Sunday does come.
Amen.
So I think that's it, right?
Yeah. I think that's it, guys. And we will see you guys tomorrow.
All right. God bless you.
Bye, guys. Have a blessed day. We love you guys.
Bye.